guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. We're gonna do it again, guys. So many of you love the idea of making these incentivized tournaments. Basically, what I do is I host these large 1K person tournaments with Bren Chong. Be sure to check him out on Twitter at Bren Chong. He posts tournaments daily. So I host these tournaments with Bren, and what I do is I throw in a little artificial sweetener, if you will, to the tournaments, and I offer $100 to anybody who can finish top 3 using a specific card that's not necessarily in the meta right now. And as you see right now on your screen, Loupanji is using Tornado because the card of today's tournament is Tornado. And the cool thing about it for me and you guys, even though you don't get a chance to actually play in this tournament that we're watching right now, we get a chance to see some of the best players in the entire game playing these cards that we don't usually see them playing. So I really like this idea, if I can pat myself on the back unabashedly a little bit here. But, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to recap the last, 10, 15 minutes of this tournament. We're going to follow around the top players, see what they're doing, see what they're using. Now, of course, it's not mandatory that you have to use the Tornado. It's just an incentive to use the Tornado for an extra $100 if you can finish in the top 3. So we have Marcus again. I think I saw Pompeo again. We saw DiegoB from Elite Gaming. He's up the top of the leaderboard. We see Patriots here. We see MarcelP again. Just a ton of big names in the game. Loupanji. She actually finished first overall in my CWA Champions Cup, and then she went on to win it in the bracket in the Champions Tournament as well. So definitely one of the best players in the game. She also made it pretty far in the CRNAO, which was pretty cool to see. I saw a few of those live matches in the Coronation Series as well. So let's go ahead and move on to Patriots match here, guys, and you'll already start to notice that a lot of these top players using the Tornado have chosen to use it in a bowler deck. So gonna see a lot of bowler graveyard in today's video. Tornado mainly gonna be used as a defensive weapon, although I'm curious to see if any of these players combo the Tornado with the graveyard spell, because the thing about the Tornado is, let me tell you about the good and the bad in my mind. I don't think the card has really carved out a niche for itself yet, so I think it is a little bit underwhelming. And in case you missed my whole philosophy on how the Clash Royale team introduces and designs these cards, I really think that this is not official, but it's just, my spidey senses go up a little bit because I noticed a little bit of a trend. All these cards are released and they all kind of fall short, with a couple noticeable exceptions. The Mega Minion and the Graveyard actually have been really powerful upon release. But other than that, there's a lot of examples from Ice Golem to Inferno Dragon to Lumberjack to Bowler. Basically, a lot of the troops that they introduce or cards that they introduce are kind of, underwhelming at first, right? And then they buff them significantly and they turn out to be really solid options. So I would still upgrade Tornado. I would still upgrade Elite Barbarians, and I would suspect that maybe the next or the one after, usually it takes about 2 balance updates for them to address the new cards because they want to wait till people get them leveled up first before they make any, quick decisions on whether to buff or nerf the card. So I would suspect not the next, but maybe the one after that, the balance update, maybe a buff to both of these cards. So Tornado is useful, and it does have like these little kind of niche usefulness, applications. You can use it to actually drag a Hog Rider onto your King Tower, but the timing has to be absolutely perfect, as does the placement, and the Hog Rider can't be combined with other cards for it to work perfectly. So I've seen it done before, but it's really tricky. To me, it's more kind of a novelty, like, wow, I pulled this off, but I haven't seen it live in-game in a competitive match. Other than that, obviously, it has a unique ability to actually move troops or hold troops or swing troops to the opposite lane. However, we're still not seeing a lot of that either. I think if they increase the dot on the spell, the damage over time effect, I think it would make it much more useful, but you have to be careful. You don't want to make it more powerful than arrows. Obviously, they cost 3 elixir as well, so I think they kept the damage very low, and they did that for a reason. They wanted to make sure that poison and arrows and all those other direct damage spells remain viable in the meta as well. It's tough introducing these new cards, right? Because people, you know, if you make them a little bit too powerful, they can box out, so to speak, a bunch of other cards in the same type of class. Now that was actually a good tornado spell, just kind of holding things up here on MarcelP's end. So MarcelP, definitely one of the best players in the game as well. You saw he actually won the Elite Barbarians, but he did not use the Elite Barbarians in that tournament. But he's using another popular bowler deck. Now this deck has seen a recent rise in popularity right now in the meta. Instead of the tornado spell in that spot, you can really play a variety of different cards. I've seen everything from even like a troop card if you want to, but I prefer direct damage, so it can be arrows, zap spell. If you want to get crazy, even try out a rocket or a lightning in that spot. You really have a few options. Maybe not lightning, really no need for that in this deck, but basically what you're trying to do, and you just saw it there by Marcel, he's going to go ahead and use the ice golem or the bowler to distract the tower in the lane, and then especially in overtime or in the last minute, in double elixir time basically, you can go ahead and combo the graveyard and the fireball on that tower, just like you saw Marcel do on that right tower there. And now you can see how patient he is there. He drops the ice golem, he has the graveyard ready, and then there goes the fireball. It's basically a 3-shot combo, and the fact that you can use that ice golem as a 2 elixir tank really makes it viable. You know, the elixir is pretty pricey when it comes to the fireball in the graveyard, but when you use the 2 elixir tank for 11 elixir, you really do a ton of damage to the tower, or at least you have the ability to do so. So Marcel used that tornado there at the very end to hold up that Hog Rider just long enough for the tower to take it down, and that's basically the use that we're seeing mostly for the tornado, right? We're not seeing a lot of use. I actually thought that a lot of people were going to be using it because beatdown was so popular in the meta. I thought a lot of people were going to be using it to switch lanes on an incoming beatdown push, but I have not seen that yet. So like right now, Marcus, he could use Tornado to switch that Giant's lane to the left lane, but I'm just not sure the 3 elixir is even worth it. I mean, he doesn't even need to do that because the Inferno Tower already took him down. So interesting that Marcus here is playing a siege deck, playing an Expo deck using Tornado. I wonder how he's going to use Tornado with the Expo. Again, I can only guess he's just going to use it here and there sparingly because that's the thing. You know, I mean, it does have that unique ability, but at the same time, like, I don't know, guys. Is it unique enough to make it, you know, a staple of a deck, to make it even a defensive staple of a deck? You can, to me, you can still get a great value out of other direct damage spells. I mean, there's a tornado right there. We're going tornado, by the way, tornado versus tornado here, and it's a cool spell. I actually really do like the spell. I just feel like it maybe needs a little bit more damage or maybe a little bit longer of a duration. That might help too, you know, because it's tempting to always say, oh, this card needs a buff, let's make it stronger, let's make it do more damage, but there's other more outside the box things that I know the Clash team likes doing as well. So we'll have to see and wait and see if they think a buff is necessary, and if so, what type of buff they want to do. So I'm kind of scouring the leaderboards here. I'm looking for Pompeo again. I can't see him. You got to figure some of the top players just maybe started out with Tornado, didn't have a lot of success with it, and said screw it, I'm out, or they switched decks and they're trying to climb back up. So I'm probably going to scroll maybe for another 20 spots or so, and then I want to get to the gameplay. I know we do have Marcus, Marcel, Loupanji. We have Belkin as well. Diego from Elite Gaming is way up there as well. So let's hop into a match. What one do you guys want to see? Let's hop back into a Loupanji match. We'll check in on her, see how she's doing, and she's going against my clanmate, Ha Cooper. I don't know who to root for, guys. Well, you know what? It's weird because I have to pay $100 if anybody finishes top 3, and I kind of want to, as weird as that sounds, because I want people to see that it's possible. I mean, nobody finished top 3, although Razor and Marcus came very, very close to doing so in the Elite Barbarians competition, so I kind of want somebody to do it. Oh, and look at that, Loupanji. Ha Cooper gives up that left tower there, wants to get a big push going in the right lane. Interesting decision there. Let's see if it pays off. off for him. So I do want somebody to finish top 3 with Tornado, and Loupanji has it, so I'm going to root for her, even though that feels like a really dirty move considering that obviously Cooper is my clanny. So Fireball incoming, starting to really rack up the direct damage, and Graveyard also on the tower here. This is by Cooper onto Loupanji's tower, and now the question is with full elixir, can Loupanji make a comeback here? Now mind you, Cooper also sitting on full elixir. There's the freeze spell. The freeze spell from Loupanji. Is it going to be enough? Very, very, very solid defense there by Cooper, and now it's going to be time to trade blows again. Here comes the giant on the river, on the bridge. There is the immediate graveyard dropping. What? Graveyard dropping? I don't know if that sounded right, but whatever. You guys get the point. So Archer's on the board, Fireball on the board. This is kind of cool. It's like two heavyweight boxers here trading blow for blow. The question is, who will remain standing at the end of the match? And I think, I don't know, is the freeze spell going to be coming here? I was going to say I think it's going to be Cooper, and there it is, the Fireball. I wasn't sure what would cycle first, the Fireball or the freeze. Loupanji is frustrated, but says well played. Always a good sport there. So that was a really fun match to watch. I'm glad I caught that one. So it looks like Paul's in first, but he doesn't have the Tornado. Let's actually look at this. What a coincidence. Diego is playing Paul, who's in first place overall. Now, DiegoB from Elite Gaming is one of our better players, and he's come on the scene really strong lately. He's been playing a lot of tournaments and winning a lot of tournaments, and he's a very resourceful and utility type player, meaning that he's a jack of all trades. He plays a bunch of different decks. That's probably why he's doing well with this Tornado deck, and of course, I jinx him and say that as he loses his tower there. Let's all pull for our boy DiegoB to make this comeback, guys. So what he does have in his deck is freeze again. So it's the freeze graveyard deck. So and here it is, right on cue. It's going to be graveyard. He drops the counter, the archers, and there's the freeze spell. So able to get a decent amount of damage here. The log and the ice golem doing a pretty good job protecting the tower, keeping it up and alive for Paul there, but still able to chip away was DiegoB. Now the question is, can he finish it off in the remaining minute or so of the match? These golem decks do get pretty strong going into double elixir overtime, so DiegoB has to be really smart here defending these big giant pushes, or should I say big golem pushes, at the same time as he uses the freeze combo to try to take down that tower from behind the push here. So here comes the bowler, here comes the mega minion, and there is the archers. So the defensive stack is all in place here. There's the tombstone, very nice placement there, getting the golem to go all that way, allowing the bowler, the archers, and the mega minion time to concentrate on that graveyard, as well as the offensive stack in the form of the mega minion now and archers behind that golem. So a good defensive sequence there for DiegoB. The question is, does he have enough time? He has the graveyard. He's waiting for that freeze. One more elixir. Freeze drops now, and here it is. Can he get that tower down? Come on, Diego. Come on, man. Oh no, so close, and he has no direct damage. That's the problem again with the tornado spell. It's not doing damage to the actual tower, so it's not like he can cycle to tornado. He does, but it's not doing damage to the tower. Maybe that's what it needs to be. Maybe it needs to do damage to the tower, and maybe that would actually make the difference there, because the thing is he had him there. He had him with that beautiful defense at that very finishing sequence, but he couldn't go ahead and finish off the job. So Paul remains in first place overall. Let's go ahead and check out SaintBelikin. Now, some of you may not have heard of him, but he is a really good player from Reddit Alpha. He's very active on Twitter as well, and he's definitely one of the better players out there in the game right now. Definitely underrated. I haven't seen him in many big tournaments, but maybe he's underage, maybe under the age of 18. You know how all these tournaments are. You have to be 18 plus to make the live tournaments, but I do know one thing. He's really solid, really solid player. So let's see what type of deck he's using now, and no surprise, it's again the bowler graveyard deck. Everybody's using this bowler graveyard combo. You can see he is playing tornado, I believe. I'm like 95% sure. It's just one of the two remaining cards that he has not used yet in this live match. So he's going against one of my favorite decks, actually my favorite deck, and I hate to keep repeating myself, but SaintBelikin needs to win this. He needs to win this if he has any shot, if he wants any shot of making top 3. So a pretty nice tornado spell there in the left lane, finishing off those 2 musketeers and the ice golem after that fireball. The thing is, you need the fireball as well, and that is a total of 7 elixir. Fireball 4, a tornado 3, 7 elixir to stop 2 musketeers and an ice golem. It's pretty much a hard counter, basically 7 for 7 when you think about it. So now it's just a matter of, can he hold on for dear life against this deck and finish off that right tower? So I'm going to be pulling for SaintBelikin here. You guys know I want to pay out. I want to pay out, and that leads me to the question of the day, guys. I want you guys to decide, what do you want the next card to be? What do you want the next Pros Play series episode to be centered around? We just did Elite Barbarians. We just did Tornado today. What do you want to see as the next card? One of my favorite cards that I want to see used a little bit more is the Giant Skeleton, and it's not an awful card. So maybe Giant Skeleton, maybe, you know, another underused card, maybe a Wizard or something like that. So guys, let me know what you want that card to be. I'll take a quick survey of you guys in the comments, and then I'll make that the barometer that I look to when I decide what card I want to make this next tournament to be all about. So SaintBelikin here still trying to chip away at that right tower, meanwhile trying to protect his right tower, trying to stave off those 3 musketeers, and doing a pretty good job of it, to be honest with you guys. Here comes the Hog Rider, and right on cue there, really understanding, what is his name, Pepe, really understanding Pepe's cycle here is Belkin, and he uses that tombstone right before the Hog Rider was even dropped on the arena. So here comes another 3 musketeer card, and again, there's the fireball. This time he's not even going to use the tornado on defense. They're going to take a few hits from those musketeers. Really, honestly, you don't need to use the tornado if you don't need it, and that was actually only 1 hit, and the reason to use the tornado the first time was because there was an ice golem with the 2 musketeers. So tank with the musketeers, use the tornado along with the fireball. No tank with the musketeers, don't use the tornado on top of the fireball. Be smart here, guys. And there is the graveyard. Graveyard on the tower, and tower is down a minute and 30 seconds, a minute and 28 seconds into overtime, and SaintBelikin pulls off the win. And oh, look at this, guys. Look at this. It looks like SaintBelikin is our first winner of all time, aka 2 days. But he did it. He did it, guys. He won top 3 at least with Tornado. So congratulations, SaintBelikin. You, sir, have just won $100.
Money, money, money,
Alright guys, so let's finish things off here with a treat for you guys and watch a MarcelP match from the beginning. Now, he is actually pretty close to top 10 right now, and again, he won yesterday's tournament first overall. Definitely not a guy that I would like to match up with in the wild. I would pretty much just concede. No, but honestly though, at beating these, or excuse me, playing these top players is one of the best ways that you can get better. So in my future tournaments, don't be intimidated to join, guys. Don't be intimidated because you never know what might happen. You just might finish top 3 using one of these cards and earn yourself $100. Who knows? If there's any sponsors out there, any rich people, maybe we can even up the ante, although $100 each is still a pretty decent amount of money. So by now, we're kind of familiar with Marcel's deck. The guy he's going against here, let's see what those last 2 cards are. Interesting bait cycle deck. I would assume one of those cards might be a defensive unit, maybe a cannon, tombstone, inferno tower, probably IT, and there it is. Probably IT as it pops up on the map there. So I'm curious, what deck do you guys like better? Do you like the freeze graveyard or do you like the boulder graveyard? Well, I think they actually both have boulders, but do you guys like that freeze combo or do you like the fireball? That's the question I'm looking for here. Oh, look at that. Oh, he uses the tornado there defensively, and it actually dragged the goblin onto the king tower. That's what we were looking for this whole match. So that, my friends, could be an awesome tornado usage. So he launched the goblin barrel at his right crown tower, and if you go and rewind, you might actually, I probably should put this as the intro, but I wanted to make kind of a fun intro for you guys too. I don't know, maybe I'll try to squeeze it in there, but that was awesome. I'm glad we actually watched this match now, because using the tornado to drag one of your enemy's troops onto your king tower is what it's all about. So this is going to be, unless he can just kind of fireball that right tower down or chip away with the miner, it's going to actually be so much more challenging. Only wish that he could have done that a little bit earlier in the match there, because just a couple fireballs will take down that tower there. I think this is probably definitely going to go to overtime. So there's the fireball. Tower is down, so now we're at 1 tower apiece. Who do you have, guys, winning this match, Devontae or Marcel? I think my money is going to be on Marcel. Just don't tell Devontae. So, Bowler played on the other side. At this point, it's about the chip game, right? Keep getting damage onto that tower, and very nice Mega Minion there. Very, very nice by Marcel. Of course, here comes the Goblin Barrel at Marcel as well, but a good Tombstone there, and look at that Tornado. Very nice usage. I mean, this match should probably have led off this video, because we're seeing the most Tornado play that we have the entire tournament so far by MarcelP, and it's really coming in handy for him here. So now the Inferno Tower is protecting kind of the flank of, or the center of the map there for Devontae. It's gonna be a matter of, can Marcus continue to defend here against the Goblin Barrel, and at the same time eventually get that Bowler down, get another Mega Minion, or of course the Graveyard Fireball combination. One well-timed, okay, so there's the Bowler, there's the Graveyard. Is he gonna use Fireball or Tornado? Tornado! He uses Tornado offensively in combination with the Graveyard. You see, it's not going to do enough damage to take down those minions. If it did, obviously, it would be GG right there, but not going to be enough. So now we go back to the cycle. Archers on the tower. Will it do enough damage? They will. So now it just takes a Fireball. He should have it up. Fireball has been cycled to. Fireball down. GG. MarcelP wins. That was an intense match. I really liked that one. Way to end the video. So let's take a quick look at the leaderboard just to make sure SaintBelikin did indeed finished 3rd overall. That's good for the Hundy, so congratulations to SaintBelikin. I've chatted with him a few times before on Twitter. I'll go ahead, if you guys want to say congratulations, I'll go ahead and include his Twitter handle in the description of this video. Tell him GG. He was a good sport. He used the Tornado along with a lot of other top players. Thank you guys who are participating in this event. You can see so many top clans here, so many familiar names. These type of events are really starting to attract top players, and that's what's, you know, that's what's in it for me and you. As I said earlier, we get to attract these players. We get to see them using decks that maybe we haven't seen them use before, certainly cards that we haven't seen them use before. So guys, don't forget to tell me what card we should use next. Are you guys a fan of seeing Giant Skeleton? Do you want to see something else? Just let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this tournament, guys, as much as I did, and as much as obviously SaintBelikin did. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.